Hi everyone, Tasha here for Kat Scrappiness, and today we're going to make an easy holiday card using items from the new Kat Scrappiness Christmas release. The supplies we'll be using for today's project includes the super cute Reindeer Games stamp set, and this one includes 5 different reindeer images. We'll be using 2 of them for this project. In addition, I'll be using the coordinating die set, the Reindeer Game sentiment set, and this one's great. It has so many fun sentiments and some little accessories, snowflake stamps. And then I'll be using the Birch tree with Cardinal Backdrop Die, and this one creates a whole scene for you. To begin the project, I'm going to use the birch tree die and cut this out of white heavyweight cardstock. I wanted to make sure it was a white cardstock since this will be the snowy hill with the birch trees and will have the color in the background. Let me show you all of the pieces when you cut it out. So you get this stitched frame, and then you get the piece that has the hill with the birch trees. You have 4 birch trees. So you have this open area that you can decorate or you can stamp a sentiment. And this fits again perfectly within that frame. And then you can add any color you want behind it to make the sky. You can also do this with a shaker card and have the clear plastic behind it. And do you see these little dots that are included in the set? This is what you'll use for your snowflakes. I cut out another round out of purple cardstock for that frame, and I'm going to have the purple frame on top of the white. So to start, I'm going to glue my pieces together. So I'm going to add some liquid adhesive around that pierced frame, and I'm going to glue it directly to that teal cardstock. Again, this is going to be a layered frame look because I'm going to add purple on top of it, but you could also just leave it as is. Once that was in place, I'm going to add that snowy hill with the birch trees. I'm using the same liquid adhesive. Liquid glue works great for these type of cutouts because those trees have really thin areas, and then you can make sure it stays in place. So just press it down and make sure you press those little branches that stick out, and then that should stay put. After everything was kind of in place, I wanted to go in and add my purple frame on top of the white, just to have everything all glued together so it had time to dry before I started adding my little reindeers. So I just put this directly on top of that white border and everything fit perfectly. Next, I'm going to stamp 2 little reindeers. I'm just going to use a stamping block for this. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you can see better. And I'm going to stamp the little reindeer that has the coffee or cocoa or the little mug. So I'm just going to stamp them with black ink. After, I'm going to take the little reindeer that has holiday lights on his antlers, and I'm going to stamp him on the same paper. These little reindeers are the perfect size. They're not too big and they're not too small, and they all have a little bit of a different look to them. Once they were all stamped and I gave a little bit time for that ink to dry, I decided to use the coordinating dies, and I'm going to cut these out and then color them off camera. And I'll be back to show you what they look like. Here are the stamps all cut out and colored up. And do you see how cute they are? The one has the little bell and his little decorated antlers, and the other has the mug. Now I'm going to go to my Misty tool and stamp the greeting. Again, this sentiment set has so many greetings to choose from, and they're all perfect with the reindeer theme, so it coordinates with these cute little reindeer images. I'm using a teal ink for this since I'm stamping on white, and I wanted to coordinate with the teal in the sky. I did use my Misty just because I wanted to make sure it had even pressure and I had a nice dark image. Once I was done, I took it over to my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to trim it down to size. I don't really have a specific measurement for this. I'm just kind of eyeballing it and making it the size that I want. After, I'm going to attach it to purple cardstock, the same one I used to make the frame, so everything again coordinates together. Then I'm going to take it back to my paper trimmer and then trim that purple paper down to size. I find cutting the paper this way is easier for me since I'm not the best at lining things up and getting things centered, so this for me just works the best. Now it's time to assemble the rest of our card. I cut a piece of foam tape and I just cut them down to smaller pieces, and I'm going to attach them to the back of both of those little reindeers and in back of that sentiment that we just cut out. And I just wanted to make sure that I had some foam on this one reindeer's antlers since they stick out. And again, I'm just going to cut and attach those little foam to that sentiment as well. Next, I'm just going to peel off the backing and then decide where I'm going to put these cute little reindeers. Since this one has the coffee mug and it's kind of like hopping towards the other one, I decided this placement works best for this card. Again, you can mix and match your characters and make a whole bunch of different little scenes with these little reindeers, and they're going to turn out cute because all of these stamps are so cute. After I had my sentiment put in place, I used liquid adhesive to just put some random dots around the sky. This is where you're going to use those little white dots that came out when you punched out that birch backdrop. So you wanted to save all of those little white dots. And then when I attach them, they have the different sizes, but there's not many that are included. So you can keep running it through your die cutter machine to make more dots, or you can use a white gel pen like I'm doing here to just fill in some of the open areas. I also like that some are raised up because they're paper and some are just drawn in. Do you see how that looks? It's just so pretty. And I love that purple frame. Lastly, I'm going to add some sparkle. So I'm going to use some tape runner to attach my card to some silver glitter paper. And this glitter paper is so pretty, especially on holiday cards. But it doesn't seem to work very well with liquid adhesive, so I do recommend using score tape or red line tape or some glue runner when you're using glitter paper. So I'm just going to line this up as best as I can, and then I will attach it to a white card base. I'm going to use the same glue runner to attach it to the card base since I did have it on hand, but for this part you could use liquid adhesive since the back doesn't have that glitter texture on it, and liquid glue would work just fine. And the white card base that I'm using is a heavyweight card base as well. It's actually the same paper I use for the birch trees. I just wanted to make sure it was strong enough to hold up the card, and I do like a heavyweight card base. Here's the example of my card and another card using the same characters, just in a different way. I hope you enjoyed today's project and are inspired to create a fun holiday card using the Reindeer game stamp and the birch tree with Cardinal Backdrop Die. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.